Alright, this morning I did the Firecracker Frolic 5K in New Germany, PA. It's put on by like a church group, I believe, or the church there. It's a pretty decent race. It's generally a good, fun atmosphere. Everybody seems to be having a good time. They give out some cool awards, trophies, and stuff like that. They have activities actually all day long for the 4th of July for people to come and do stuff, hang out, whatever, celebrate the 4th. Not sure what all they do, but I know they were cooking some chicken and some dinner and stuff. Anyway, I finished first overall in 17:03. So that would be a new PR for a 5K. I don't know if I'm going to call it a PR yet. I'm going to have to think about this, because on my watch I only had 297 when I crossed. I mean, GPS is going to be off a little bit because of the way the curves and stuff are and the little dips. But I definitely cut some tangents out today. So I'm kind of on the fence if I'm going to call it a PR. My old PR is 17:19. So it'd still be close, especially because I didn't last like 3-4 tenths of a mile. I didn't run as hard as I could have per se. So I'm gonna think about this, but either way, all right. So we started this little grass by the pavilion area above the little graveyard that's there. Then we take like a diagonal downward thing out to, like, I think it's Route 160 or something like that, whatever, New Germany road, whatever the road is. We hit and we run most of the course on. If you watch the race course preview, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about, maybe a lot easier. There's a lot of rolling hills, or bumps is what I'm going to call them, during the race. It's like 150 feet downhill on the way out, so maybe like 50 feet of gain, give or take. I can't remember offhand. I'd have to look. I didn't look at the stats yet. So on the way back, it's more uphill, so you can save some energy on the way out by running the downhill a little bit while pushing. But then you got to be careful, because on the way back, you know, you don't want to burn out because you're going to be running uphill most of the time. There was a lot of high school kids today, a lot of cross-country kids. I don't think there was really any college runners. I know there's a couple getting ready for college running, so they might be seniors this year. Either way, there was a bunch of youngsters I was worried about. I really didn't want to have to burn myself out because I got to work later. Just kind of hoping, you know, everybody would run nice, relaxed race today instead of pushing hard. But there was kids that wanted to do like a time trial for college or high school, whatever, so they were going to push. There was a bunch that took off, probably 6 or 7 of us, I think, took off in the beginning through the grass. I almost tripped on a couple of them as we, you know, went from like a big wide mass start, you know, coming down into like single lane on the road. I know at one point somebody bumped elbows with me trying to get over. So when we hit the road, maybe the first 10th or 2, I was probably 4th-ish place. I know the one guy always goes out way too fast and then just burns up because he never learns. So I didn't really worry about him because I just knew he was going to be done sooner than later. But the 2 youngsters that were still in front with him, I was worried about because I didn't know what times they were going to throw down. Plus, I really just didn't want to run fast today if I didn't have to. I wouldn't say I wasn't mentally in it, but I wasn't in like a killer race mode. But I think with them being there, I put pushed a lot harder, did a lot better than I probably normally would have if they weren't there. So maybe like 4/10 in, I think I took over the lead. I think it was like 1/10 past the kid who was in second, and then another 10th I passed the kid who was in first. And then I just led the rest of the way. I just attacked the little bumps as much as I could, used the downhill for some free speed and very quick recoveries. It's just a constant, like, I don't want to say a constant downhill, but a constant rolling hill. But the little bumps that we had, you would keep with a net loss on each bump. So if you hit like if you go down, we'll say like 15 feet, you'd hit like a little 5-foot, 10-foot bump, but then you would get down another 15, 20 feet. So that's how it was the whole way out. With one little more gradual, like 2-3 of a bump. It just seemed to go by really fast today. I know my watch, when it hit a mile, I was a few steps away from the mile marker. Same with 2 on the way back. I might have been like 10, 15 feet, maybe 20 at the most, from the mile 2 marker on the way back, because it was on the opposite side and I could see it. I cut the tangents pretty good today. I ran more in the middle of the 2-lane road than the side, so it definitely saved me some time and probably knocked a bunch of distance off, like 10 feet here, 10 feet there, because with the rolling hill, it's also got some little gradual S-curves to it. So by me running more straight in the middle, I didn't have that little S out and about, so it definitely saved a lot of time and distance. Maybe that's why I got 297 instead of 310, because I was more in the middle than the outside. But yeah, I tried to push hard that first mile and a half, trying to gap the youngsters, you know, hoping I could hold them off. I figured the more gap I had early on, the better, because I figured they were going to get me on the way back on the uphill. Well, even though I'm better generally on the uphill than most people, I just felt like I wasn't going to be able to attack it as much today, with having done that race Saturday, and then I did some stupid trail work yesterday in biking, so I didn't think I was going to have legs to hold them off. Yeah, so not much really happened after I took the lead. We did make a left through a little housing development. It was just a couple of little tents. I jumped off over into the left lane probably a little early, but I knew it was coming, so I got over. Now the thing with this little housing development is the first half you got a nice downhill, and I knew that from having raced this before. So I used that to my advantage. I pushed really hard in that quick little 10th, I'll call it a 10th section, to shave some time off and just to get my body rolling forward a little bit more with momentum, because it's more like a box instead of a loop. So you're not really circling, you're more like boxing this loop, whatever. So as I was coming down, I wanted to make sure I got the momentum to carry me through, and then right back up the other side of the loop, which has the same amount of incline as the decline that we just had. So I was trying to use momentum to carry me up. It worked pretty good. Right before we cresting, I started feeling it in my legs a little bit, like the burn, because I was going fast in just the uphill. Then it leveled off. Before popping out where the water stops at, I'm not sure exactly the mileage. I would say it's probably more 165, 17, I think. Yeah, either way, whatever. So then we make a right to head back the same way we just came. So now I'm going to be facing uphills the rest of the way. For the most part, with just a little bit, I want to say 2/3 is uphill, 1/3 down. But to finish the last 3/10, you're going uphill. I just kept pushing. I was feeling it in my legs a little bit. I was definitely struggling. My legs were definitely getting heavy. I did that a couple years ago too when I raced it. I started to burn out on the way back. I was starting to burn out again today. Probably because I was just going so fast to begin with and pushing. My heart rate was in the 170s. I think I was just starting to finally like feel it in my body, like all the energy was just starting to suck out of me, like the oxygen, and just fatigue just from going so fast early on, and then pushing, and just the hills in general, well, rolling hills. So it's definitely starting to catch up to me. At one point I did think I was just going to drop off and fade, but I got over it. I just sort of blanked out. I know before the water stop I was trying to hit a good tune on my MP3 player. I couldn't find one, so I just finally gave up, and I think I just blanked my mind out. I mean, I knew what my body was like reacting to. Like I knew my body was getting tired and fatigued, but other than that, it just pretty much ran itself today, and just, yeah, blanked. There's no other words to explain it, but it just sort of blanked out and just ran. I might have had 5 seconds-ish after we popped out of that housing development, which is nothing. It's just one little slip up or one little push from the kid who was in second, and he would have got me at that point. So I was trying to hold him off as much as he could. And each little rolling hill, I just felt it more and more in my legs, felt more and more tired. So that sucked, because I just figured at any moment he was just going to come up behind me and just take over the race. If he probably would have, I probably would have just let him have it, because I really didn't feel like I had a kick, and there was nowhere to really recover enough per se. There was one little recovery section, but it wasn't enough how I was feeling at the time. I wasn't going to be able to fully recover. I needed more of a 10th recovery than like a 5-second recovery, even though that did help me tremendously just to regain enough to maintain speed. I just didn't get to fully recover on the way back. Probably about 3/10 to the finish line when you could start seeing people, because it's a pretty good crowd in the area. Even though it's not heavily populated, the people that do live on that stretch do come out and watch, so that's pretty cool. Just to have people watching a race, cheering you on. But I could see them coming up with that like last 3/10, and we had hit that steady incline the rest of the race. That's where I faded before, but I just, like I said, I blanked out, so I just kept running. And I looked back, and second place was still only like 5 seconds behind me. So something happened like right there. I don't know if he just gave up, got tired, or what. But when we came back and made the left by the cemetery to finish out in the grass, he was like 15 seconds behind me. So I don't know what happened, if he just faded or just gave up or what. But I was kind of shocked that I had that much of a lead then. So then I just cruised into the finish line. Could have pushed a little bit more in that last 10th to, I would say, probably 1.5 miles. I wouldn't even say it was a full 2/10. Because I don't know, whatever it is, when I look back, that's when I pulled back just slightly enough, which would have probably cost me that sub 16 time today. It definitely cost me that 3 seconds. I definitely could have got it if I wanted it, but again, it was only 2.97 on my watch, so I'm kind of if I want to call it a PR or not. Because like me running in the middle of the road, I probably shaved some off, and then just running fast in general, GPS, and then those little bumps and rolling hills, GPS probably didn't catch everything, because when you're going down like this, you know, with the signal, it probably didn't catch everything. Either way, whatever. So I finished in 17:03. A couple other people said they got like 2:97, 2:98. But the mile, I don't know, because it would have had to have been shorter after mile 2, because like I said, mile 1 on my watch dinged a couple feet before mile 1 marker, and then like we'll say 15-20 feet before mile 2. So somewhere in that stretch between like 2 and 3.1 is when somehow it got short, which I don't know how, but whatever. So that's what I'm saying. It might be more of a GPS thing, or just cutting the tangents pretty damn good than anything. But I'll take it. I really enjoyed it today. Really enjoyed actually racing with those competition of the youngsters. They're youngsters because they're like half my age or less. It was a good 4th of July morning. Actually, it was a really damn good race temperature too when we started. It was like 55, 60. It's already up in the 70s. I know it got really humid during the race. I think that affected a lot of people and me too, like mid-race, because that's when it like started to get humid, and I think that killed me as well. But I was definitely sweaty after the race, definitely dripping pretty damn good for a long time. But I enjoyed it. Networked some afterwards, talked to some people, met some new people, enjoyed watching people finish. There was a lot of little kids coming in on dead sprints when they hit that grass and they saw the finish line. Man, they were booking it, man. They were probably doing 5-minute pace at that time or less, just the way some of them were just dead sprinting it out. But it's a good time. Check it out if you get a chance. Check out the race course to see the bumps and see what it was all about, and see what I'm talking about. Other than that, I feel pretty good. Maybe a little gassy right now. Now I'm taking a nap, get ready for work, and I guess that's about it. Have a good 4th, everybody. See you out there soon. Be safe today.